Hey, how are you doing? Mike Anderson, and hope you're having a wonderful day. I wanted to create this quick video. It's a 5-minute webinar, and it's for you to describe a little bit of information, what we're seeing in the markets. Quarter one is now over for 2019, moving into quarter two on Monday, and just a short 5-minute webinar. Essentially, after this 5 minutes, I think you'll have a little bit better perception on what reality is starting to look like. So kind of fun with words there. So let's jump into this. Immediately in our own mind, we see things as a straight line, a finish line. You know, our finances, we kind of organize them in our head to say, hey, it looks like this picture, you know, finish line, straight line, we're good. But what does reality really look like? And with things going on, it's kind of like this. A friend, Charlie Bello, puts these graphs together. I really enjoy them. But in here, what we can see over the last 10 plus years from 2008 to year to date where we're at now, we see 2019 year to date that everything has performed well, and the lowest performer has been cash. And whereas in last year, cash was the top performer and everything else did not perform well. So that's an interesting little thing there. Cumulative. So this far one is how everything has performed cumulatively. Other than commodities, again, cash was the lowest performer. So pretty interesting to see from 2008 to 2019, you know, in that 10 plus year perspective, very important to keep that broader horizon there. Let's go and continue moving forward on this. And here we have the inverted yield curve. You may be reading about this or hearing about this in the financial media. And how does that relate to recessions? And this is an interesting stat. We look at the last 9 recessions, so listed over here on this column, and we have the when it ended. So when it started, when it ended, was there an inverted yield curve before these last 9 recessions? Yes, there was. And so it's common that we might see a recession after an inverted yield curve. And what was the lead time before that recession took place? So a lot of people starting to talk about this now. So quick disclosure, I'm not trying to make any prognostications or anything like that. So this is only just for some educational purposes that I wanted to share this short video with you guys. But I thought that was an interesting graph, and I wanted to share that with you. Here's another one. Housing starts in January of 2018 is when we saw that peak right here at 1334. And then rates started going much higher. And that's when we saw the housing starts drop. And then after that, we saw right now we're at rates just have now been dropping and dropped to where they're at the same level now as far as mortgage rates that we saw back here in 2018. The rates have just dropped to that level. So we may see this number climb. There's support there to make that climb because rates have been dropping. So one thing to keep an eye on. I thought that was interesting to share. And then fascinating here, this just kind of boggles my mind, the negative bond yield matrix in other countries in the world. If you're holding your money in their bonds, you're in effect losing money in each of these countries where you see red. So you can go to Malta and hold your money there for 3 years. Each year it's going to go down 0.1% per year. Very wild to see these negative bond yields. So that's a interesting indicator and something to keep an eye on. So when we talk about our perception of how things are going and what reality really looks like, it's not really this simple that we see here in the picture. It's a little bit more like this picture. You know, you're going, there's bumps, there's bridges to cross, rivers to forge, hills to climb, bad weather, and we go through that. But if you have your objective prioritized and you understand what you're dealing with, it makes this process a lot easier. So hopefully that's part of the conversations we can have when you feel like we need to. So want to make sure that I'm available for you and My website, I assume most of you have already all been there, maranantha.com, and feel free to check it out if you have not. A couple things I wanted to share with you before I close out this quarterly kind of update call. I have a new podcast. Just about a month ago, I started doing this. It's also on the radio on KVTA Sundays from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's the Smart People Money Show. And check that out. It's a 30-minute show, either on the radio, KVTA, or you can go into iTunes and put in the Smart People Money Show and subscribe there. So would love for you to check that out. Also on Alexa, something I've been doing, this is really cool, the Smart Money Minute. So if you have an Alexa or on your phone, you can get the Alexa app for free. You say, Alexa, enable Smart Money Minute, then I will be on there for a daily idea, finance idea. This is kind of fun perspective or idea that I like to share, but kind of an emerging technology there. So I'm early to the game on that one. Also on the radio from Sundays 8 to 8:30 a.m. is The Big Idea. It's a feature interview. So higher education, business, community is the focus there. So it's also on iTunes. Feel free to check that podcast out, or on the radio. Would love for you to follow me there and subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. Couple things I've been sharing with people a lot lately. I enjoy this webinar format, and debt used wisely is a great tool, but deadly if used to fuel an unsustainable lifestyle. A lot of millennials nowadays, and just in general, people need to understand this. So I talk about this all the time. But one thing there, should I be living for today or saving for tomorrow, or seeking to find balance? So clearly we want to find balance. Sometimes we live too much for today, not enough saving for tomorrow, but you can't have it one or both ways. I mean, balance is the key. You don't want to only be saving for tomorrow. You don't want to only be living for today. So find your balance. It's fun to deal with. Essentially, sometimes spouses will struggle to balance it out amongst themselves. It's to be tricky. So excellence in personal finance is a product of good habits, more so than any revolutionary event. So good habits are the key there. And these are the things we want to be teaching our kids and our young adults and our millennials. So, for your own kids and grandkids, these are the principles we need to instill. So, hey, that's it for this quarterly update. And if you have any questions, as you know, you can always email me, call me, reach out. And I'm here working away, trying to put good content out there for you and everybody. And so please feel free to dial in. If you have any other money questions or other money you want to look at, finding the right fit for, we definitely want to be talking about that as you have that need. So, hey, have a wonderful weekend, and look forward to being in touch. Take care now.